Dr. Devi Napier-Parampil is a physician and assistant professor at the NYU School of Medicine. She's in our studio tonight. So, Dr. Devi, how significant is this?
I mean, this brings up a couple of different things, right? So it's the larger debate about dietary supplements, and then, of course, the specific issue, which is plain fraud, right? That you're saying that you have these ingredients in your supplement, and they're just not there.
Do doctors recommend supplements often?
Depends on the specialty. I mean, I'm in pain management, so I see a lot of people who come forward, they ask about supplements or they ask if we have recommendations. Now, I don't usually recommend them, but at least I acknowledge that a lot of people do use them, so we have to have that discussion.
Are there a lot of companies that make them?
There are. Well, so there's not real regulation about it. So a lot of people can come forward with these supplements. So that's the bigger issue with the FDA. Now, the FDA regulates drugs or medications. So there's a lot of different rules that people have to, protocols that people have to follow in terms of the standardization of the product, knowing what its effects will be, knowing what its side effects will be, its safety profile. In this case, the thing is, anybody can create a supplement pretty much, and they don't have to follow those rules. There's not necessarily the same consistency.
Not many regulations regarding the FDA, but what about the AMA? Does the AMA have any positions on supplements?
Well, the AMA, I think the AMA, as well as the NIH, tries to look for whether, there's any kind of research that would back this. So there are some smaller studies that say that some of these supplements might be helpful, but they're very small and they're not really consistent. So we need larger studies. Now, who has an incentive to do that? I mean, the NIH does somewhat because there are a lot of people who are interested in supplements, but the manufacturers don't necessarily have that incentive because, why would they? Why show that something might be unsafe, or why try to prove the mechanism of action if it's not totally clear? So because they don't have that burden to prove it, they don't necessarily have an incentive for the research.
So we need regulation, in your opinion, or not?
I think we need some regulation. So to be fair, I think we need consistency. I mean, the fact is, everything has pretty much an effect and a side effect, right? So at least if we knew what those were, then we could talk to patients and tell them, look, this might help you for this condition, but these are the side effects that you'd have to watch out for. I mean, I think if so many people are interested in it, at least we should have the answers to be able to give them.
But as someone who meets with people and talks about supplements every day, do you now add a new layer of your conversation?
Well, now I have to watch out more about fraud. Of course, after this particular topic came up in the news, that's something that we have to watch out for. But I always had to ask about it anyway because, well, I do spine procedures, for example. So in those situations, I mean, some of these things people don't realize, like ginkgo, garlic, ginseng, these different supplements, they can actually cause you to bleed for longer. So if you have surgery, if you have any type of procedure, you can actually have serious complications from taking these things beforehand, and patients don't always come forward and tell their doctors that they're taking them.
That's interesting information. Dr. Devi, thank you very much.
Thank you.